What's going on, man? It's your boy Jay Holley, and we are back with another episode of Unfiltered with Jesse Holley, episode 101. Thank you. You're far too kind. You could have been anywhere in the world, but I am so glad that you are here with me. I am Jesse Holley, the sports talk equivalent of Braille. People feel me when I speak. You guys know what you got to do. Hit the like, subscribe button. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, anywhere you get your podcast from. We are here each and every week at the Playmakers Bar and Restaurant, 5005 State Highway 121 in the Colony. Come on down here for some good food, some good drinks, some good energy, some good atmosphere, and you never know. The Playmaker might be here one day, and you can say what's up to him. You guys know how I like to get down. I like to give my motivation in the beginning because let's be honest, some of you won't be here at the end because I'm just not for everybody, and that's okay. But before you go, find one episode. When you see this one, 101 of them will be already out. Pick one. Give me 15 minutes of listening time. If you do not like that episode, find another one. Just keep scrolling. It's 101 of these damn things in there. Go on a walk, sit and meditate on it. Do whatever you do. Listen to me before you get into bed with your lady, or you get into bed with your man. Whatever floats your boat, whatever tickles your pickle. I don't care. Just listen to me. That's all I want you to do is listen to the show. All right, but here's what I got for you guys on the motivation. The first step to wisdom is silence. The second is listening. Leaders are listeners, not just hearers. The first step of wisdom is silence. The second is listening. If you are a leader, or you want to be a leader, or you claim to be a leader, you need to be a listener, not just a hearer. Most of the time, most people listen. I should say that most people hear to respond when you should be listening to act. Listen to what someone is saying to you. Close your mouth. There's a reason why God gave us one mouth and 2 ears. Sometimes, myself included, I need to shut the hell up. It's fact. Because there is wisdom in listening. There's wisdom and truly hearing to grasp and listening to grasp what that sage, wise person who is instilling that wisdom to you, on you, and in you is saying. And especially if you want to be a leader, you got to be able to hear the people that are following you, listening to the people that are following you, and really taking that in. So the first step to wisdom is silence. The second is listening. All right, man, let's get into this thing, man. I want to thank everybody who listened to episode 100. If you listen to 101 and you haven't listened to 100, press pause, go back and listen to 100. I sat down and had a 2-hour conversation with the playmaker himself, Michael Irvin. We sat right here in this. I'm in his office. This is his office. We sat here, and boy, we had a conversation. There was laugh. There was crying twice. 3 times, I think it was. There was some great stories. There was some great insight. Michael Irvin was Michael Irvin. He was what you know him to be. Intense, funny, engaging. The stories were phenomenal. So thank you all who already went and watched episode 100. But those of you who have not, please go and listen to it, man. You can get it on Spotify. You can get it on Apple. You can get the video version of. You can get the video version on Spotify as well, right? Tay? Yeah, so if you're a Spotify user, the audio and the visual is on Spotify. If you're the audio person, the audio is on Apple. And if you're a visual, what you about to say?
The whole video catalog will be on Spotify soon.
The whole video. So all 101 will be on Spotify too, both visual and audio. Apple is audio. Of course, YouTube is visual. So if you like looking at me, like I like looking at me, go ahead and get that thing downloaded on YouTube. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe button while you are there. All right, man, let's get into this thing. We are 2 weeks away from the NFL draft, and the Cowboys are putting together their 30 visits. Now, let me list off some names that the Cowboys have had already come in for their 30 visits. I just had the list pulled up, and now it's away. So let me pull the list back up Again, so there's names like Tataroa McMillan, Emeka Ibuka, Luther Burton. You just had Matthew Golden, Texas wide receiver that was there. You have running backs that had came through. Running back Judkins and Henderson from Ohio State. The running back Tootin from Virginia Tech, Amarian Hamper, go Heels. Offensive linemen, you had Armand Mimbu and Kelvin Banks. You've had Jonah, I can't pronounce his last name, but the offensive guard from Arizona. You had both of the stewards from A&M, Michael Williams, James Pierce, Walter Nolan came through, Alfred Collins came through, Siobhan Vervell, cornerback, came through, Andrew Mabuka from Texas, safety, came through. So the Cowboys, which they have many needs, whether that's offensive line need, defensive line need, cornerback need, of course, wide receiver need, for sure, running back need. They are checking off the boxes and trying to find themselves a player at number 12. And they'll have they'll have their pick of the litter. The Cowboys will have an opportunity to get a good player at 12. And later on in this show, I'm going to talk the draft assessment of what I feel about this overall draft and why this draft isn't littered with the greatest of generational talent. This draft isn't one of those drafts. And I think that's why people may be a little bit confused about what people will do in this draft. I'll just tell you a couple of things that I've liked about some of these 30 visits. I'm biased, right? Amarian Hampton, North Carolina Tar Heel. I'm a Tar Heel. So I'm like, oh, great. Amarian's in town. Think he'll be a phenomenal a running back. But the one, and this is me being absolutely prejudiced in a good way. This isn't a black and white thing, not that kind of prejudice. This is a appearance prejudice. And why I fell in love. I think Judkins is a really good player. But here's why I fell in love with Judkins. Because of course, when you go on these 30 visits, these players, they're there and they're taking the pictures with Jerry Jones and stuff like that. I fell in love with Judkins because when I saw his picture, he probably had on the most terrible fit outfit you could ever have. And to some people like, damn, just, we listen and we don't judge. Why are you judging that man on his outfit? It was horrible. His outfit was terrible. He had on some baggy Jabot jeans and some what are those on his feet. And, and I looked at this fit and I said, I hate the fit. The fit's trash. I love him. People say, wait. You hate the fit, but you love him? What? I love him. And here's why I love him. Here's why, from that picture alone, and this may sound crazy, but from the picture alone, we're talking about Judkins, who split the backfield with Travion Henderson at Ohio State. If you don't know, I'm going to educate you. The Ohio State Buckeyes had a championship roster. They won the championship last year, $20 million. $20 million. You know that Judkins got a nice chunk of change out of that 20 that was passed around that roster that they had in Ohio State. That dude had on some baggy Jabot jeans. I don't know if they was Jabot. Maybe they were Paco. Maybe they were South Pole. I don't know. But the jeans were trash. The kicks, trash. My boy had on no chain, no ice, no, he didn't give you the Shador, no Audemars, no Breitling, no Rolly, no nothing. He had none of that on. He wasn't come. I love him. I love him. Why do you say that, Jay Holley? That dude's about ball. Okay? That dude don't give a damn about fashion. These kids now, they got the fashion and they want to wear the Balenciagas and they want to wear the Moncler and they want to wear the Fear God and the Essentials and they want to wear all this weird stuff. When I saw Judkins and I saw that fit, oh, that's a man about ball. That's a man that's like, all I care about is ball. I don't care about fashion. I don't care about jewelry. I don't care about bling. I don't care about none of that. Bless ball. I said I like him. I know a ball player when I see one. That joker came to Dallas on his 30 visit and he ain't had no ice on. He ain't had none of this weird. Nah, that dude, Judkins, I love him. I'm not saying that he's going to be the next to nothing. I don't know. But I fell in love with him. Simply because I know a ball player. I know a dude who is strictly about, he don't care about nothing else. He don't care about none of that. He don't care about none of that. Every time you see the joker, he's somewhere in the weight room. He's somewhere doing football-related things. He ain't at the fashion show. He ain't wearing the weird glasses. Now, I'm not saying that you can't have those things and still be a good player. You see it all the time in the National Football League. But a guy like this, in this culture, in this generation, who was a star at Ohio State national championship, he contributed to that. One of the best running backs in the country. And he showed up in some Jabot jeans. Put him on my team. Put him on my team. The Cowboys went and, like I said, they brought in the top 4 wide receivers in this draft class. They brought in Matthew Golden, Tetairoa McMillan, Emeka Egbuka, and Luther Burton. Let me just say this. I know that everyone, and here's what I love about the draft, because no one is certain. No one. I just literally, Tay and I just sat here and argued for 15 minutes about somebody who was drafted in 2017. He said it's a miss. I said it was whatever. But no one really knows. No one really knows. And so I love about the draft is that I can feel one way about a player. You can feel one way about a player. You can feel another way about another player. And we don't know. It's all personal preference. It really is all personal preference. Because the guy that liked Tetairoa is not right or wrong. The guy who likes Emeka Egbuka, not right or wrong. The guy who likes Matthew Golden, not right, not wrong. It's personal preference. Out of those 4 receivers, Emeka Egbuka, Luther Burton, Tetairoa McMillan, and Matthew Golden. Me, personally, for the Cowboys, I would go Emeka Egbuka. I would go Luther Burton. I would go Tetairoa. Then I go Matthew Golden. That's just me. Not saying that any of those guys are wrong, but I think Emeka Egbuka fits perfectly opposite of CeeDee Lamb. I think he does. And I don't think any of the receivers that I just mentioned, none of those guys are surefire dominant wide receiver ones. They aren't, in my opinion. Now, again, it's my opinion. I don't think Tetairoa is a number 1 wide receiver. Like, I think he is a compliment to another dude. Like, I think Tetairoa will be, like I said, he'll be compliment to another dude. Same thing about Matthew Golden. Same thing about Luther. Now, I will say this. I'm a huge Emeka Egbuka fan to Dallas. Fit means everything. But I think the one player who's not being talked about enough, who's actually been falling in this draft, I do a show with Clarence Hill, and he went and did some digging on why Luther Burton is falling in this draft. And it was because a lot of scouts came to practice and he didn't give off that I'm a really good practice player, that I'm not front of the line guy. Not he's a bad person, not he's a bad kid, not he has some skeletons in the closet that they're waiting for the shoe to drop. But it was just that he just didn't look well in practice. He didn't look like a first round pick in practice. I think if there's any player out of the names that I just named as far as receiver that's gonna have major success in this league, like almost like superstar success in this league, I think it's Luther Burton over Emeka, over Golden, over Tetairoa. I do. I think if Luther Burton falls, and if you're a Cowboy fan, say again. Yeah, and some of these mocks, I'm saying, if he gets to, you start talking about, he gets to like that 30th range, and now you start looking at those teams, especially teams who already have a winning system put in place. Like, imagine Luther Burton getting to the Philadelphia Eagles. Imagine that, Cowboy Nation. If you're a Cowboy fan, if you're not a Cowboy fan, imagine having to deal with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Luther Burton. You don't have the facilities to stop that. You don't. Jordan Lewis is in Jacksonville. You won't see Trayvon Diggs until I don't know when the hell you'll see Trayvon Diggs. You gotta hope that Seatbelt plays better than he did last year. You gotta hope that Deron Bland gets back to that intercepting form that he was 2 years ago. You don't want to see that. You definitely don't want to see a guy like Patrick Mahomes get a Luther Burton, right? Like you don't want to see that. You don't want to see one of those good teams that finish later in the year. You don't want Washington to get a guy like that. You don't want to have to deal with that type of environment. You don't want to. But I think Luther Burton, out of that 4, I just feel this way. This is just me. Again, I'm not right. I'm not wrong. This is my personal preference. I think for the Dallas Cowboys, Emeka Egbuka is the perfect fit. Emeka Egbuka isn't elite at anything. He is really good at everything. He is really good at everything. Doesn't have elite speed, good speed, can run. Right? Isn't an elite route runner, is a really good route runner. He's not the biggest of the kind, great size. Like he doesn't do anything elite, but he does everything. He's going to block his tail off. He's going to play multiple positions. I just think Emeka Egbuka fits well in that mix for the Cowboys. So to have them come in and check him out, I don't know where they're going to go. I think they are going to go receiver at 12. My personal opinion, but the fact that they're looking at defensive tackles, that's a great thing. They need them. They need a good Alfred Collins from Texas in the middle. They need. We're not. I'm not going A&M. A&M.
No. I was going to say you can't draft a Michigan tackle. Kenneth Graham, defensive tackle.
Well, only one. Only one. Mason Graham. If Mason Graham somehow, some way, in God's green earth, he falls to 12, you take him. You take him. But anybody else, you stay far away from them. But there are some players that the Cowboys have brought in on their 30 visits that I'm all for, and I'm not opposed to. And I know they just signed Sadiq Charles, which adds another offensive lineman to the mix. But I'm not opposed to them going to get an offensive lineman to number 12 either.
Yeah, what if they're there? Banks or Campbell? What if they're there?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the Cowboys have given up.
Or Missouri. Sorry,
I'm out on Mimbo. Mimbu. Yeah, I'm kind of out on Mimbu. I don't think the Cowboys have truly given up on Tyler Guyton just yet. I may have, but I'm going to give him a little bit of grace and see if he can't right those wrongs in training camps. I'm going to give him a little bit of grace. But if Will Campbell is there, if Kelvin Banks is there, man, I'm not mad if they go and get that. Because now what you do is if those guys project and are who they are, you're talking about now having your left tackle solidified, your left guard is already solidified, and your center is a good player. Cooper Beebe is a good player, and I think if he continues on the progression that he's on, he'll be an above average to really good center. Your left side is great. And then now we say, all right, Guyton, maybe you work better. You can kind of have like the Mekhi Becton type situation where it didn't quite work out for you at tackle, but they moved Mekhi Becton last year inside at guard. For Philadelphia, mauler. He was a mauler. Saquon is a great back, but they ran behind a lot of those guys up front because Mekhi Becton didn't work out at left tackle. Move him over to right guard. So it's a possibility. It's definitely a possibility. The Cowboys have a lot of holes, a lot of needs. I will say this: when the Cowboys, you look at their 30 visits. I would not be the Cowboys. Let me say this. When it comes to the draft, the one team that could really, really, really shake up this draft and put the Cowboys in I'm not saying a weird position, but put them in a position where You got to make a decision. Do you pick there? Do you trade back? The Jacksonville Jaguars. That's the one team nobody's talking about. That's the one team who can take this draft and turn it upside down because of where they can pick. They could, because right now they don't have any receiver moving into the top 10. But Jacksonville can shake some things up. Remember Liam Cohen, who was the offensive coordinator at Tampa Bay. He's going to be offensive minded. Maybe you think about it, he's going to be offensive minded. So what does that mean? That they jump up and there's multiple options, right? They can reach and go, oh, you know what? Tyler Warren, Penn State tight end. Come on. Evan Ingram's grown. So now we have Brian Thomas Jr. I can put Tyler Warren in there and give Trevor Lawrence a reliable source over the middle. Or they can go, you know what? When I was in Tampa Bay, I had one side I had Mike Evans. The other side I had Chris Godwin. I got Brian Thomas. Give me Tedero McMillan. Give me, Matthew Golden. I pair them up, and now Trevor Lawrence has two solid wide receivers in his mix. I can run what I ran at Tampa Bay with those two guys, 2,000-yard receivers, right? Grab an offensive lineman. Like you could do a lot of different things at that, and now that kind of spins this thing, on its head. They can go and say, you know what? We are going to get, a running back, and they take Omari and Hampton there. Like there's a lot of things that the Jaguars can do at that position. But if you get to the Cowboys, and let's just say you get to 12, and no receiver has been taken, I wouldn't mind trading back. I wouldn't mind trading back because I'm winning if I get any one of those four wide receivers. I'm winning. I think Emeka Egbuka is the best of he's the best of the four to me that fits for the Cowboys. I'm not saying he's the best receiver overall. I'm saying he's the best fit for the Cowboys in my opinion. But if you can move back and pick up another second round pick and you can grab a receiver in the first at like 20, 18, 19, 20, and then now I can go and get a running back in the second, a defensive tackle in the second, a cornerback in the second. I can do multiple things in the second. I'll have 2 second-round picks. And then I can go get another guy in the third. I can get 4 quality picks if I decide to move back. That's very, very intriguing to me. I can get 4 starters in the first 3 rounds. That's super intriguing to me because if I can get a receiver, a running back, a D tackle, and a cornerback in any of those orders, I'm cooking with fish grease now. So the Cowboys have some 30 visits, and a lot of those guys can actually be on their team. The list is not done yet. They'll continue to add some more guys to that list, and I'll keep you updated, and I'll talk about them as we go through. But right now, as I sit today, when you watch this, as I sit today, my choice at number 12 for the Cowboys would be either Kelvin Banks or Emeka Egbuka. That's Jesse Holley's opinion. Those two would make me happy. Those two would make me happy. That would make me happy. If you went Kelvin Banks, or you went Will Campbell, I'll be happy. If you went Emeka Egbuka, I'll be happy. I think I won't be sad. I won't be sad. I think Golden is still, he needs some polishing. I don't think he's refined enough as a receiver. And Tet is like, to me, Tet's boom or bust. There is no in between for him. Like either he's gonna have to be a big play receiver. Here's why I'm a little bit off on Tet for the Cowboys. Because everyone keeps telling me 50-50 balls. 50-50 balls. 50-50 balls. That gets you in trouble. I need a separator. I don't need a contested catcher guy. I mean, I get it. I understand it. I need a separator. I need guys that understand how to separate. The Cowboys had one of the highest percentages last year of windows to throw the ball in. Like they couldn't separate. They couldn't get guys to separate. Tight ends, other receivers. And so what ends up happening is if I'm forcing the ball over the course of a season, The bigger, taller receiver a lot of times usually gets jammed up, timing gets thrown off. But if I'm consistently throwing into tight windows and banking on him making 50-50 catches, that means tips and overthrows will happen. Tips and overthrows happen, interceptions happen. It's a bad look. And I also think the Cowboys, this is just what I think. They believe in Jonathan Mingo. They believe that Jonathan Mingo is going to be their big body receiver. I'm just telling you what I feel coming from the building. I'm in the building often. What come from the building is they're like, you know what? Jonathan Mingo is going to be our big receiver that we've been dying to get, because they've been dying to get a big receiver. They've been dying. Look at the last, Ryan Flournoy, Tolbert. What's the other kid's name? There's another one. Flournoy, Tolbert. It doesn't matter. And Jonathan Mingo. They've been trying to get one, and I don't think they've closed the door on. We haven't. We didn't see Mingo with Dak, so they're still living out that dream that it'll work. Okay, so I think Tet's going to be a good player. I just don't think he's the best fit offensively for the quarterback for the Cowboys, but time will tell. All right, man, moving right along. Only in Dallas. This doesn't happen anywhere else. I promise you. And I love this kid. And I say kid in the most respectful way possible, because he's not my kid, but he actually could be my kid, because I know for sure I'm damn near 20 years older than this kid. DeMarvion Overshown got a number changed for the third time in his Cowboy career. DeMarvion Overshown is wearing number 0. Do we count 0 as a number? Is 0 technically a number? Yes? No? Maybe so? Yeah, he's wearing number 0. And only in Dallas is this a conversation. Only. And I've told you guys earlier this year, I know some good, reliable people that work in the marketing department for the Dallas Cowboys. And they told me that this year has been one of the first years. They've been there 20 plus years. That person that told me this has been there 20 plus years working in the marketing department. And they said this is one of the only years that we've seen a dip in sales, merch, advertising, all across the board. Now, the dip doesn't mean that they're in the red, but the dip is under what they normally do, right? Like it's not like, oh, they take a sufficient dip. They're like, man, we're usually up here. We're right here now. And Jerry said, to hell with that. And so they rolled out this big marketing campaign, DeMarvion Overshown. Because when you think about it, and I don't want to sound like I'm disrespecting the young man. DeMarvion Overshown. DeMarvion Overshown hasn't done enough in a Cowboy uniform to warrant this level of fanfare. He hasn't. He plays 13 games. Remember, he got hurt his rookie season. He played 13 games this year, got hurt. Now, in those 13 games, he was a really good player. Really, really, really good player. We don't know when he's going to play again. He's probably going to play somewhere around November-ish this upcoming season. And I don't mean disrespect, but I got to be honest. He hasn't done enough to. I mean, they did a whole rollout. It's on the website. They're going to the factory. Like he's been on ESPN. He's been on Kay Adams. He's been everywhere. I'm like, if it's Micah, I get it. It's a significant player. But this is, you can't tell me. You could tell me, but I wouldn't believe it. This is a marketing rollout for Jerry. They're going to sell a ton of these jerseys. I know they are. They're going to sell a ton of these jerseys, and you hope that this kid who's on his second ACL, that he gets back. And he's a wonderful young man, super positive, just uber talented. But he didn't. He hadn't done anything to deserve this fanfare. This is a Jerry Jones generated marketing idea, scheme, plan. That's working to perfection. Look at here. I'm talking about it. You've heard it all week. But yeah, he's going back. Well, I should say back to zero. He wore 0 in college. So Agent Zero, DeMarvion Overshown, will be wearing 0 for the Cowboys. The first time in Cowboys history. Now, remember that the NFL just opened up this number a few years ago. So this is the first time in Cowboy history. There was a little bit of a rivalry. They're saying, well, Rowdy wears 0. He wore 00, but they're like, Rowdy wore 0, so he couldn't get it. I'll tell you that Micah Parsons actually wanted to wear 0. Now, for those of you that don't know, a player like Micah Parsons, who warrants the fanfare because of the player that he is, the NFL says you can change jerseys, numbers if you like, but if you're a superstar player, because when they make jerseys in bulk. They ain't making it every time you order it. So Micah Parsons, who, if you go and look it up, was a top 10 jersey seller in the league. So there's a lot of jerseys for Micah Parsons. A lot. You got to buy them. You either have to wait till they sell out and tell them, hey, I'm changing my number, don't make anymore. Or in order to change your number, you, the person, the player, Micah Parsons, would have had to buy out the inventory. So whatever the NFL inventory was, he would have to take money out of his pocket, pay the NFL for those excess jerseys that were number 11s if he wanted to switch to number 0. The number was probably a little bit more than he wanted to. 11's probably his number now. Well, not probably. It's his number now, and he's not moving forward with it. DeMarvion Overshown, the door opened up for him, and he took full advantage of it. And so, yeah, he'll be wearing number 0 next year. I hope that his kid is continuing his rehab, and he's a hardworking kid. And I say kid with the utmost respect, young man. He's going to work hard. You just hope that when he comes back that, you know, his athleticism isn't affected when you're talking about having your second ACL injuries, and that he can actually stay on the field and be productive, because if he is, this defense is better. We'll end on this one as far as Cowboys related things. The numbers have come out from Vegas. And I get it. It's early. The draft is in 2 weeks. Football's fluid. Things change. But right now, and you leave your answer in the comments under this. Right now, they have the Cowboys win total for the 2025-2026 season. Drum roll, please. 7.5 wins. 7.5 wins they have the Cowboys at right now. I think, listen to me. I'm full of positivity today. Okay? Full of positivity today. I think Vegas is wrong. I think the Cowboys finished 7-10 last year. Dak missed most of the season last year. I think Dak's good for at least 2 more games. I think Dak is good for at least 2 more games. I say if 7.5 as we sit today, if I was a betting man, which I'm not, if I was a Vegas betting man, I would put a couple coins, which I don't have because we're in a weird time in this world, and so I save all my money right now. I save it anyway, but I keep my coins tight. I'll put a few shekels. I throw a few shekels on the over. If I had a few extra shekels laying around in the couch cushion or something like that, I think if 7.5 is what Vegas is saying, I think 9 wins is possible. I do. I know what Philadelphia is. I do. I know what Washington is becoming. I do. But under the leadership of Dak, he's played well against Philadelphia. Like, he has a winning record of Philadelphia in his time in the NFL. So I said that maybe you could split. As good as Philadelphia is, I always throw out the records when it comes to divisional opponents. So I look at this and I go, okay, if they split with Washington, they split with Philly, they're going to beat New York. That's 4 wins right there. I think they beat the Jets, the Raiders, and that's 6. And I think they beat the Cardinals. That's 7. Cardinals are coming to Dallas this year, I believe. I think they can beat the Chargers. That's 8. I don't care where it's at.
Oh, we don't know yet.
We know if it's home or away. We just don't know what the date is. It might be home. And who am I missing? I had another one. That's 8 right there. And I know they play the Vikings, the Bears. The Bears are going to be tough this year. I think the Bears are going to be tough. I know. A little bias. My boy Ben Johnson, he's putting together a good unit. I'm saying the Vikings now, but I didn't say they're going to beat the Vikings. I said there's a possibility they can beat the Vikings. They're going to lose that game. I think they're going to lose that game to the Packers. They have Denver, right? They can beat Denver. I said the Raiders. Denver's my 8th. Denver's my 9th. Oh, there it is. Panthers. There we go. It's 9. Panthers, Jets, Raiders, Chargers. Split. Beat the Giants. That's 8. Doesn't make a difference. That's 8, and then they can get the 9. Yeah, they'll win one of the maybes. They'll win. They'll beat the Vikings or Chargers. Yeah. That's 9. I think it's possible. I think 7.5 is Vegas kind of putting hook out there, trying to get some bets in. Again, if I had a few shekels, I don't. Not a betting man, not a Vegas betting man. But if I had a little, I say 9. I think now my 9 is contingent upon Dak Prescott staying healthy the entire year. Okay? Because I don't believe in Joe Milton, and I don't believe in who's the third string quarterback of the 2B, Will Grier. Don't believe in either one of those guys. And I know that Dak is getting skinny, which I'm torn. I'm torn about skinny Dak. I really am. And I'm torn about skinny Dak because everything that I've been taught in my time in the league is always, as you get more years in the league, you want to lose pounds. You want to be lesser in your weight as you get more years in the league. Just kind of helps your longevity. But I'm teetering on that line. Dak might be a little injury prone. I might want a little more cushion for the pushing. I'm just saying. So I'm battling what I've always been taught and believed. There's a pause? A little cushion for the pushing? Pause. Okay, we'll pause it. We'll throw a pause in there. But I think Dak's good for 2 wins, man. I think so. 7.5, 1.5. Dak's good for 1.5. He's good for 1.5. He's good enough to will his team to a 1.5. 9 wins for me, and I think they still missed the playoffs though. 9 wins and they missed the playoffs. That's where I'm at with there. So you tell me it's 7.5 over or under, and if they go 7.5 or under. I'm telling you, the seat is going to be so hot, and I know he just got hired. They're not going to play around. I don't think they're going to give a long leash to old Shotty. I think the Shotty leash is going to be very short. I do. And the reason why let me tell you why I think the Shotty leash is going to be short. Because I just have a sneaky, suspicious feeling that 1 or 2 of these programs are getting ready to blow everything up. I think the Rams or the Niners are getting ready to blow it up. I'm just telling y'all, I think the Rams or the Niners, I think one of those 2 coaches are going to be looking for a fresh start. If they hit the market, If they hit the market, I don't care what you owe Brian Schottenheimer. I don't care. You pay him and you tell him, thank you for your services. Have a good day, sir. And you go get McVay or Shanahan. I just have a sneaky suspicion. And then the dark horse, that sounds racist what I'm about to say after this. The dark horse is if Pittsburgh doesn't do well, they may get to a point where they're saying, all right, Mike Tomlin, your time here is up. You've had a good run. We need to move. We need some fresh energy here. If one of those three coaches become available, I don't care. I do not care about what Brian Schottenheimer potential is. If one of those guys come up, you bite the bullet and you say, good day, sir. You take these shillings and you go. We're going to get one of those guys. You want to get out of that drought? You want to get the fan base truly? You keep telling us, Jerry Jones, that the check that you would write would be to Brian Schottenheimer to relieve him of his services and then go and hire go and hire McVay, Shanahan, or Tomlin. That's all I'm going to say about that. 7.5 wins? Come on, Dak. You good for a win and a half. Get us to 9. If not, you'll be on your 4th, 5th head coach, Dak, because, yeah. All right, man, let's get around the sports world. This NFL draft is a unique one. And not just Cowboy related, just NFL draft in general. It has been from what most would say, this has been one of the very unique drafts because there isn't, at the top of the draft, there isn't much can't miss, surefire, blue chip talent. I think there's two surefire, can't miss, future Hall of Famers, blue chip talent in this draft. In the top, I would say in the top 15 picks. Abdul Carter, I think he's going to be an absolute stud. I pray that his foot, which he got evaluated back in Indy, according to Drew Rosenhaus, and his foot is healing. I think Abdul Carter is going to be a menace. I do. And there isn't a better athlete in this draft than Travis Hunter. I think those two players are surefire, can't miss, blue chip prospects. After that, I think Cam Ward is quarterback 1 off the board by default. I don't think Cam Ward's a can't miss, blue chip, surefire prospect. Don't think Shador is. I think Ashton Genty is really good. I don't think he is can't miss, surefire prospect. Mason Graham.
Clarify, you mean like Hall of Fame guys?
Yeah, I mean can't miss. I mean you know these guys that come into your team and are like, this dude, the clock starts for him going to Canton to 5. He's gonna be in Canton. He's gonna be a guy that we talk about for years and years and years to come. I think Abdul Carter. I think Travis Hunter. That's it. I think a lot of these guys are in the first round because the talent isn't where it normally is. I think a lot of these guys will get picked higher than they normally would in a normal draft year that has some of the blue chip top tier talent. I think that's why you see so many questions about guys dropping and falling. Like, it is the talent. Like, I'll give you an example. I talked about the 4 wide receivers, right? Tataroa, Luther Burton, Emeka Ibuka, and Matthew Golden. In my opinion, none of those guys are wide receiver 1s. Like, let that set in. Let it sink into your brain. I don't think any of those guys are surefire wide receiver number 1s. I think those guys are glorified, really good Robins. I don't think you're picking one of those guys and saying, Batman. I don't. You might have 2 or 3 of those guys go in the first 20 picks. And they're not Batman. They may have some Batman plays. They're not Batman. You're not saying that this is wide receiver 1 on my football team. You're saying he's going to be 1B or 2. I'm pairing him with. I think if I said Abdul Carter, if I said Travis Hunter, as far as skill level, right underneath them, there's Ashton Genty. But that running back is so different. And here's how I look at it. Abdul Carter needs nothing else. Put him on the field. Don't need no help. Line him up. Travis Hunter could be a shutdown corner. Don't need no help. Ashton Genty needs help. Ashton Genty needs a line in front of him in order to be successful. Does that make sense? Like, he can't create greatness by himself. Abdul Carter don't need DBs behind him. He can just, if you line him up against that left tackle, he's probably going to whoop him 9 times out of 10. Travis Hunter, if he played corner, he's probably going to lock up or defend that receiver for a good percentage of the time. Ball comes his way, he's catching it, interception, he's going back to the house. You need him to go return a punt, he'll go return a punt. And then he can go on the other side and be your wide receiver number 2 or 1B. That good. Get the ball in his hand and get the hell out of his way. So that's why I put those 2 dudes up there. And I put right underneath them, because if you put Ashton Genty in the right system with the line is blocking and it all works out for him, now he can blossom into a really good player. You know, I remember Saquon was a really good player in New York, but he didn't have really good blocking, so it ended up him being a good player that never really did anything. He goes to Philadelphia, and he should have, if he was thinking with his right mind, should have went and broke the record. Should have went and broke the record. That's the thing about running backs. I need something around me. I need the foundational pieces around me. But this draft is just so. There is no, again, I don't know any other way to put it. There is no surefire, blue chip, can't miss prospects. Like, he's gonna be. I gotta pair them with something else. I gotta put them in the right. So that's why you hear the questions. Like if Shador goes to New York, I don't know if Shador makes New York. Like, you don't go to New York and all of a sudden the odds of New York going to the Super Bowl rises. Like, Shador has to go there and you still have to build pieces around him to be successful. It's not like Shador goes there and he's Patrick Mahomes, where he makes the other guys better. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Same thing with Cam Ward. I think Cam Ward has arm talent. I think he has escapability. I think he has the ability to make plays when there's no plays to be made at times. But if he goes to Tennessee, if he goes to Cleveland, you're not saying, oh, Cleveland, Tennessee. The odds just went up for them making. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too critical on those guys, but this draft is just weird. It's weird. You know, you think about guys like Shamar Stewart, right? From old people were saying, if they could build a defensive end, they could build one. Like Scott's saying, if we could build one from scratch, it looked like Shamar Stewart. That's what they're saying. They're saying if we could build it and give it traits and give it attributes, physical attributes and and how to predict the numbers to go, it looked like Shamar Stewart. But then it goes, he has the look, doesn't have the productivity. So now you're going traits versus actual productivity on the field. And some teams are going to go, this is the prototypical, this is what it's supposed to look like. And I'm not saying that he won't work out, but I'm saying that the question is that look is supposed to match. He's supposed to be Reggie White coming out. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's supposed to have that feel to it. Doesn't. There's a lot of questions. It goes, well, what we're seeing and what we're seeing, 1 and 1 ain't equaling 2. There's a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions about the top end level of talent. There's a lot. And then we start getting past 15 to 32. It's now start saying, all right, how many of these guys, because of the talent level not being as blue chip, as great, how many of these guys now did we force into the first round that are truly second rounders? And now who are second rounders that really probably should have been third rounders? And now you start putting these labels and titles and expectations. Thank you. Expectations on these players because the talent isn't as great. So they move up into the realm because they're saying, we got to have 32 first rounders. But on a normal draft, these guys would be middle of the second, late second, third round picks. So everybody gets moved up a little bit because of this draft is not having a lot of talent. So when you think about just the draft assessment of it all, I just think about those things. I could be wrong. I could be right. But that's the issue. There's a lot of questions and a lot of positions for a lot of players that I haven't seen in a long time. This many questions about the top end talent that are going in this draft. Normally you'd have 8, 10, 11, you're like, these dudes, blue chip, they're taking off. And then you definitely miss. But, we'll see. We'll see where Shedeur ends up. This is just a sidebar. Jalen Milroe, I don't know who's advising you. I don't know what you're hearing. But people that I've talked to and been around, nobody said that you're going in the first round. Now, I could be wrong. I could be dead wrong. I could be absolutely wrong. But why'd you accept that invitation to Green Bay? Are you going to sit there in that draft room and be the last one picked? If you even get picked you're not. I don't think you're getting picked in the first round. Then you go to a city like, I can see if it was like New York or Vegas or Cali or Miami where it's like, you know what? Hey, a free trip to this place and I can just have a good time there. Like, you're going to Green Bay. Ain't nothing in Green Bay. You're going to be in an Airbnb with your peoples after the draft is over and you didn't get picked. Ain't nothing in Green Bay to go and do. You have a cheese sandwich or a brat and a beer. That's it. But I digress. All right, moving on to the NBA. Some weird firings, man. The Memphis Grizzlies fired their head coach, and then as of a couple of days ago, the Denver Nuggets fired Mike Malone. And that was just a weird one because 20-something months ago, they were the world champions. Right now, they're fourth in the West, and they just up and fired their coach. Some people are saying that Mike Malone didn't give the right playing time to the right people, and he leaned on a little bit too much of Russell Westbrook. I don't know, but it was weird. It's weird that these firings are happening across the league. The Joker talked about it was a heavy day. Called it a heavy day. That when they fired Mike Malone, but this is it's weird. It's weird that these coaches who are successful, at least Mike Malone. I mean, he's got a championship. 22 months ago, his championship, out of a job. If I'm a team, like if Popovich doesn't want to come back and coach, if he's like, I'm out, Mike Malone, San Antonio might look good. You got some real young studs out there. You got, of course, you got the unicorn, the alien, Wemby, got Castle. You got some good players out there. Some really good players out there. Another funny thing in the NBA, they had Steve Kerr mic'd up the other night. I love this. I love a good mic up. I love a good mic up for someone who's going to talk. And in this game, Buddy Hield, who was a guard on the on the Warriors, he just ain't getting the ball to Steph. And I love it. They're in a timeout, and Steph comes over, he sits down. Steve Kerr goes, Buddy, come here. He goes, I want to introduce you to somebody. He goes, this is Steph Curry. He's one of the he's the greatest shooter in the world. Steph, buddy, Steph. Like, you might want to pass him the ball. Like, it was just funny because it's like, buddy, what the hell are you doing? He had to introduce you to Steph Curry. It was really good. If you hadn't seen it, go and look that clip up. All right, I'll end on this. I live in Dallas, and last night, when you see this, it'll be 2 nights ago, Luka Doncic returned to the AAC, and mixed emotions. Mixed emotions. A lot of emotions, I'd say. I wouldn't say mixed emotions. A lot of emotions. A couple things are clear. Very clear. One, they hate Nico. Nico, they hate you. I don't hate you. Mavs fans hate you. Hate you. But kudos to you, Nico. Kudos to you, Nico. I got to give you some credit. A little bit of credit. I thought your socks and shoe selection for the game was terrible. But you showed up. And you showed your face. And you knew what was coming. You knew and you heard the Fire Nico chants. But you watched the game and Luka returned, and before the game they gave him a tribute, and you saw the emotions, the raw emotions of Luka Doncic on the bench. Even said in his post-game press conference, man, after the tribute video, he was crying, like, man, I didn't think I could play the game. I wasn't at the game. I watched it on TV, but even the city, I work around the AAC, and you could just tell that the buzz that was happening was a somber emotions. And then Luka just proceeded to put belt to tail for 45 points on the Dallas Mavericks. And I don't know if this is closure for any fans. If it was a reminder, if it opened up the wound again. But here's what I do know. Nico Harrison either has to resign or the Dumont Adelson group have to fire him at the end of the season. I don't think, and this is what happens when you bring people, and I'm not telling Mark Cuban what he should and shouldn't do. I'm not telling the Dumonts and the Adelsons what they should and should not do. That's their money. They're rich. They do what they want. They buy whatever the hell they want. But when you bring people into a city that isn't familiar with the city, that don't have any roots into it, they don't have anything that's rooted in it, they don't understand it or anything like that. So they just come in, they sit at this high place and they look down. They're not boots on the ground. They're not entrenched into the community, and they didn't realize. And Nico comes over, and he's been around for a little while, but he had this vision in his head when he went from Nike coming into the game at Jim. He had this vision in his head, and I don't think he fully. I don't think his landscape of this thing fully went out to say, what would this look like when it's done? And he didn't. His math wasn't mathing, because the overall, what word am I looking for? The overall ramifications of what Nico did, just being here, being around it, hearing the people, listening to the people, may be irreversible. may be irreversible. The Mavericks and the Mavericks ownership are losing millions. I don't think they thought that out. I think they thought there would be some hurt. I don't think they thought that far out. And some reports that they're close in the 100 millions. They tried to do a little marketing thing to kind of get some money back and had some of the sponsors that they had try to do this campaign thing, but they needed, for the game, and they needed the Luka's team to sign off on it. Luka's team said, no. Lost millions in advertising and sponsorships that may not return. Fans, I've seen it on Twitter, and I've met people who are saying, I'm not renewing my season tickets. I'm not. And I don't, there isn't anything like you would have to, because this trade was so monumental, crazy, unheard of. A 25-year-old superstar being traded away. And I think people are even more upset because you didn't get quite what you got in return. Like you let a dime piece go and got back like you dating a 7 now. Not bad. Not a dime. So you would have to do something as equally crazy in return to, I think, get the fan base excited again. I think they're still going to hate you, Nico. I do. I think they're still going to hate you. And I don't use that word loosely. Like, I don't use the word loosely. I know some people say, we're hate. No. I think there is a very large contingent of Mavs fans, MFFLs, that hate Nico Harrison, that hate him. And if given the opportunity, they saw him somewhere with, I don't know. I'm going to not say that. Let me not say that. They hate him. And so you would have to do something like trading for Jason Tatum, trading for Anthony Edwards. You got to get another prime player to come back to get the fans excited again. And I don't think they would, because I get it. They fell in love with this kid from Slovenia, and that Luka became their guy. I don't always understand fandom, but I understand feelings. And people were hurt. People cried. When they saw Luka cry, my guy Kevin Gray, who I work with over at DLLS, he tweeted out earlier today, and we were joking with him in the office this morning, like, did you cry last night? He's like, nah, man, I ain't cry last night, man. Nah, man, hell nah, man. I'll make too much money to cry. That's what he said to us. I don't know if I should have said that on air, but he said that to us. How much money you make, Kevin Gray? Because my contract is coming back up. I need to renegotiate because y'all making a lot of money around there, and I don't feel like I'm making what I'm supposed to be making. But that's another day. That's not a conversation for y'all. It's a conversation for DLLS. But anyway. But Kevin Gray tweeted out. He said I went home and I got a chance to watch it again, the tribute in full. Said he cried. Maybe a little soft to me, Kevin Gray, but hey. To each his own with his emotions. I'm just playing. I'm playing KG. But yeah, I don't know if I've ever watched a game where the team cheered for their, like the crowd didn't stop cheering because Luka put on a show, 45 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, top rebounds. And they were cheering for when the Mavs scored, but they was also cheering every time Luka scored or touched the ball. So it was like cheer. They didn't stop cheering all night long. It was just, there was a double home game. Yeah, they love Luka. They love Luka, and they'll never have him again. Trae Young even chimed in and was saying like, man, he was never leaving. You can look at a guy who was crying like that and would know that he was never leaving. But I also love a good petty. Love a good petty. Shout out to Gatorade. I said what you did. So Gatorade, if you go back and you watch it, Gatorade had a commercial with Luka. He's sitting there. If you notice, like at a high school gym, behind him the bleachers are spelling out L.A., right? And he's like dribbling the ball, but a subtle little petty. It's got to just the Gatorade towel that was around his neck. They did it to where the words across it read "Trader." And they had a little cute slogan that went on with it. I forget what the slogan was, but I love a good petty. I love a good petty, and Gatorade, you did it. But yeah, man, Luka came back to the AAC, spanked the Mavs, and he's gonna come anytime he has to come back here and play the Mavs. He's gonna play them with the vengeance. Vengeance will be mine, like my boy said in Gladiator. Vengeance will be mine in this life or the next. And every time Luka comes to AAC, vengeance will be his. And yeah, there's nothing you can probably do to stop him, but hope he doesn't play. Hope he's out, you know. But that era is over. Tay said he cried. No, I'm saying he didn't say he cried. But the Luka era is over in Dallas, and I really don't see how Nico survives this from a business perspective. From a business standpoint, the amount of money that you're losing because people hate Nico Harrison. You got to do something. So I don't know if I don't think he may say, you know what, this is too much for me. I got to go. And poor Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd is one of those, he's just caught in the middle of it all. Jason Kidd's caught between a rock and a hard place. Because I'm sure as a coach, you're saying, I don't want to lose my best player. Like he's a 25-year-old guy who's been to the, 5-time first team All-NBA. But I also don't want to lose my job because I like getting paid to coach. So I don't want to lose my best player, but I don't want to lose my job. And they keep asking him about it. And he just keeps saying dumb stuff. He just say like, oh yeah, like the Babe Ruth thing. That's pretty cool. Like, I don't know if you know what side of the Babe Ruth thing that you were on. Like, I don't know if you understand what side of the trade that you were on with the Babe Ruth. Anyway. Yeah, poor Jason Kidd. He just sit up there. He looks bewildered and dumbfounded like, oh. He wants to say, I didn't, this ain't got nothing to do with me. I won Luka. I wish he was still. But he gotta be a company. Got to toe the company line, and just tell them, here's what I think. So, all right, man, that's it for your boy Jay Holley. I'll see you guys next week. This is episode 101. Don't forget, go back and watch the Michael Irvin episode 100. We sat down for a great time. But listen to this, and then listen to Michael Irvin. Listen to this. Hell, listen to a whole 101 of them. Please do it. I got some great episodes in there. Derek Holland's in there. Patrick Creighton's in there. Barry Church is in there. Nate Newton is in there. I got some good ones in there. Who else do I have that's in there? Sean Merriman's in there, receiver from Oklahoma. Brian Bartis is in there. Jeff Kavanaugh is there. Who? Mark Clayton is in there. There's a lot of episodes in there and all in between. So go and catch up on these episodes. Remember, the first step to wisdom is silence. The second is listening. If you want to be a leader, be a listener, not a hero. All right, man, that's it for your boy, Jay Holley. Until next time, remember, eliminate the contingencies. I'm out.